I'm just curious how long this podcast boom is going to go.
It's on the edge of over.
Okay.
The good ones will stay around.
Yeah.
The ones that are funny, the ones that evolve, the ones that are people just, it is really obvious to people who's doing this because they're bored. Who's doing it because
or who's doing it because they just have like weird FOMO, or just
who's doing it because an agent or manager called you and went, you got to do something. And it's very obvious to people. If your heart and soul's in it and you love to do it, people know that. People can pick that up. People can also pick up anything that you do where you're, whether you're inauthentic or you're just kind of like, hey, I'm just going through the motions. There's a lot of people that are like, I have a podcast now because I guess I got to have a podcast. It's like if you're into it and you do it and you love doing it and you build that relationship with your fans, which is the best. Podcast fandom is the best relationship ever with your fans.
Yeah, it really is.
They love you. They're like your family. They talk to you. They update you on things that are going on in their life. Some of them are scary, and yes, they'll kill you. But at the end of the day, it's so much better than having people that maybe they're on a couch or they're in a break room and they turn on a TV and you're there and they're like, okay. And you're playing some character and they're like, oh yeah, you're funny as that character. And they don't care anything about,
You're lying to me. You're pretending. What are we doing?
Right.
To
so
figure this up.
People are, I just think, but I do think that podcast for podcast's sake is on its way out.
Well, a lot of people are just doing it as their like plan B.
It was like when I was in mortgages, I was sitting at a diner and I gave the waiter my card. I said, I'm in mortgages. And then he took out a card and he said, I'm also in mortgages. And he's a guy who was giving me a pizza bagel. So I said, oh, everyone in the world is doing this. It's 6 months from over. And I was right. I think this is 6 months from who cares. Not every show, mind you. But I mean, the novelty of it.
And a lot of the famous people who just like did podcasts because they could.
Going away.
And are not doing numbers. It's actually, because I need to like compare things in order to understand. It's like similar to when in television, back when we did television, the sweeps week, you'd try to cast like a very famous person, like a stunt casting. To get the numbers. And it wouldn't get the numbers. Because that's not what people are, they're tuning in for the original cast, not the celebrity.
Right.
Like it never worked.
Right.
You know, it's like for a minute, movies and TV shows were trying to cast like YouTube influencers to be on TV shows thinking the audience would follow them. They're like, no, we're not following you there. But there's something interesting about when celebrities go on, try to do a podcast and no one gives a shit. It's like, we didn't sign up to hear you talk for 3 hours. You haven't proven to us that that's your skill.
Right.
We want you to sit there and look pretty or be funny or do whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And people don't follow them. So there are a lot of celebrities that start podcasts and they're not doing well.
Well, it's also when they're allowed to go and do other things, they're going to do them, right? So if you're allowed to make a movie or a TV show, or you're allowed to go do stand-up, or you're allowed to go or if you're allowed to go on a vacation.
Yeah.
Like, whenever you're allowed to do the things you wanted to do, a lot of people are going to go, fuck this, I'm not doing this podcast. I have a job.
Yeah.
People just want to feel like they have a job. So a lot of these actors and actresses are like, well, I don't have a job right now. I got to do something.
Yeah.
And their agent manager's like, hey man, you got to stay relevant.
But and a lot of them are starting podcasts and deciding to turn them into like political preach sessions also.
Yeah, of course.
It's like, what are you doing?
Because that's how to be relevant. That's how to be relevant. The politics is overtaken Hollywood. The stars of politics, Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro, are much more famous than Hollywood actors.
Can I ask you about Candace Owens?
Yes.
Is she a performance artist? Like,
anyone in media at her level is, and she certainly is.
Yeah.
She's smart.
Like like I always feel like when people get like annoyed about her and Ann Coulter, I'm like, don't buy into this. This is all just.
I mean, you know what it is? It's like she is capitalizing on what you have to do. You don't have a choice. The William F. Buckley or whatever intellectual conservatism you want to imagine doesn't work. He who shrieks the loudest is going to get the attention. So you got to say wild shit all the time to even get the plane off the ground.
Yeah, it's so true.
And that's what these people are all doing. So it's like, is she an artist, performance artist? Yeah. Is she any more of one than AOC? No. That's what they all have to do. Our politicians now are governing off Twitter. They want to get retweets. They want to go viral. I mean, this is absurd. This is sick, but this is where we're at. So anybody that levels that charge at her, like, oh, she's a grifter, she's this, she's that, it's like she's existing in the climate that we have.
Yeah. Right. like, if I may, I feel like for the first 6 months, I really held tight. I held steady. I was steady.
I forget what you look like.
Around Thanksgiving is when I started to break.
Do we have a photo of her before the hair? I like forget what she looked like before the hair.
I started to break around Thanksgiving. That's when I really, really started to catch up to me. The demons started to catch up to me. Right. The not doing stand-up, the addiction that was keeping all the voices at bay started catching up to me.
It fucks us all. I get it. We're all losing our minds.
And that's me with brown hair. I think I got to go back to brown hair. I think I think got to pull it together. It's gone too far. But this is my argument against podcasting. It's people. This has been enabled. People are like, love it, love it, love it. Whereas in TV, they go, no, you can't do that. You look insane.
There's different mediums, different strokes for different folks.
Because I feel like you can go down a wormhole in social media where you can find anyone to encourage bad choices.
That's absolutely true. But you gotta.
There's something to be said for the old school publicist who's like, yeah, we don't let her speak. Like there's
I agree.
Because I was like, I'm gonna fire everyone.
Certainly agree.
I'm going rogue.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, there's a reason publicists this ridiculous Byzantine system works because talent. We're mentally ill. We shouldn't be talking. We shouldn't be making our own choices. We shouldn't be able to record ourselves and blast at any time.
When you were on The Honeymooners, you were one of the most iconic figures in television. Okay, you worked with Jackie Gleason. You worked with Art Carney. These were legends. I'm so grateful. We're grateful to have known you and to have the gifts that you've given to us. The episode where you and Ethel ate the chocolates when they were going down the thing.
By the way, it actually is. Cloris Leachman passed away.
Yes.
And I had like 4 pictures of me and her to choose from.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad.
They
say the Cloris Leachman died. Not that you took pictures of her. Listen, you have to join the ranks of the legends.
You know what I want to do?
You have to join the ranks. Ascend the golden staircase.
I want to be a judge on one of those mask shows. Mask Sing. I want to just be a judge.
Well, that's nice.
I want to do that.
Well, isn't that fun?
Do comedy most of the year, 2 months as a judge on one of those ridiculous shows, because people still watch those.
But you can do it.
They're fun. I have fun doing that.
Can't you get that gig?
Yes. No, I was a guest host on Masked Dancer last night. I went and shot it like a couple months ago. It was a fucking blast.
Are you in the studio and everything?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We went and shot. It was like Ashley Tisdale and Paula Abdul and Brian Austin Green and Dr. Ken. I was like,
who?
Craig Robinson.
Brian Austin Green, the guy from 90210?
Yes, but he won. But this is 90210, the first one. But here's what I'll say. Remember he shot his friend? Or his friend killed himself on 90210? Remember that? I brought it up on The Masked Dancer. They cut it out.
Oh, really?
I was like, yeah, I remember.
How is Brian Austin Green not shot himself?
He's making that Masked Dancer money.
I'm sure he is. But I wish him all the best. Doesn't that sound fun, everyone?
But here's what I'll say.
Doesn't TV sound good? You can see someone dress up like a crab on the Fox lot.
I went on The Masked Dancer and I was like, this is what Hollywood should be. A ridiculous spectacle with a bunch of idiots not pretending they're better than anyone. We're in sequin costumes. We're doing dumb dances with washed up sluts. This is what it should be.
Right.
A ridiculous clown.
A circus.
A ridiculous clown show spectacle.
Yes.
Silvio Berlusconi 101. Why were we pretending we were artists and had a craft and we were taking ourselves seriously? We're fucking pigs. We're disgusting mentally ill pigs that are entertaining for like an hour a day. This is what we should be doing.
Right. Well, I wish you luck in your new career at The Masked Dancer. I've never seen the show, but I'm sure it's good. And I think people need to watch it in between handfuls of OxyContin or whatever they're doing in this country. Whatever people are doing in this country, in between that, while they're scratching themselves in an opioid rage, they should watch Brian Austin Green dress up like Sebastian from The Little Mermaid and dance.
It's pretty fucking entertaining.
I bet it is.
I think that, you know what it is? Because that's what it's come to, is that watching people dance in costumes, you realize, like, when you see an actor acting, you're like, oh, that's the guy that dated the so-and-so, or that's the guy that raped so-and-so. Like, actors are too distracting now because we know too much about them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But someone in a costume performing and singing, you're just like, oh, I can just sit here and... That was the only time I've been entertained in like months.
Well, I gotta watch it because it is super popular, and I have friends that watch it who I respect. So I'm like, why are you watching that? But they're like, what are we supposed to do? Listen to your podcast over and over again? I'm like, yes.
Because it's like mindless. It's what entertainment's supposed to be. Mindless, fun. I mean, this is the future of TV, right? That.
Okay, well, count me out. I mean, count me out. That's all.
It's like
there's no interest. I mean, imagine sitting on a panel and being like, hey, who are you? Like, that is a hell. What you were showing me is a hell. To drive my car to that lot, to sit on that studio, get COVID tested, swabs in your nose and ass. You sit there and you got to sit next to Ashley Tisdale, and then you got to go, oh my God, so you acted, you sang. What's your relationship like your sister? Do you have a TikTok with your sister? To me, that is the 7th ring of hell. Truly.
Well,
I get it. People love it. There's never going to be one world anymore. That's the thing that's hard to understand.
And that's what else
there will never be one world anymore.
Yeah.
So the people that are gone are going to come back, but they're going to be in another dimension. And they're going to do things like The Masked Dancer that I don't give a shit about. And everyone's going to be like, yeah, but there's like a bazillion people watching. I'm going to go, yeah, but I don't care.
Yeah.
And then they're going to go, yeah, he's got a little dumb show on YouTube. I'm like, yeah, but there's 500,000 people watching. And they're going to be like, really? Like, but whatever. They're going to be like, we don't care. That's cool too. Everyone's going to live in a different world. I don't want to have to live in somebody else's world. I don't want them to have to live in my world. Choose your own reality. 2021.
You can
Choose
also
your own
have
reality.
you can also do this for 2 months and then go do your other thing for
2 months of The Masked Dancer?
Yes, it's like a week. You shoot that for like a week.
2 months.
Get in, get the fuck out.
Masked Dancer. I mean, it's just a crazy. So that's the argument to stay in LA. Well, you're right. I'm not going to go to Austin. Hopefully, I'll get on The Masked Dancer. And I'm not even big enough to be a judge. I'm not nearly big enough to be a judge. That's what's crazy.
You will at some point.
Here's
but
to
it's
hoping.
funny because Tim's like, fuck Hollywood, they won't hire me. They will. You just keep calling them pedophiles. Every week you call them baby dick eating pedophiles. Like, they want to hire you. You and Theo are like, fuck, the Hollywood won't hire me. They don't respect me. It's like, well, all you do is say that they are
hire us to do what though?
Run pizza places with babies being trafficked.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal.
You're making it very hard for them to do business with you.
What we're doing is relevant, and what you're doing is irrelevant. That's the reality. The Masked Dancer is not relevant to anyone except corn-fed pigs who are like falling out of their disgusting cars and crawling into a golden corral. That's who watches that show.
Yes.
People whose brains have leaked out of their ears. And there's nothing wrong with that. They deserve entertainment too.
By the way, even younger demo than TikTok. I'm getting 1010-years on The Masked Dancer.
Oh, well, and you should be proud. Why would I call Hollywood pedophiles when they're marketing to 10-year-olds? Why would I?
Because I was on there and they were like, this is like a kid's show. And I was like, oh, had no idea. Question, why are your fans so hot? Every hot
a lot of them are attractive.
It's weird. Every hot guy I know loves you. What is that?
Because they want to
like male models
be me. They secretly want to be overweight with a skin condition.
Like, what is that? Every weird random hot guy that I dated on Raya will be like, dude, I love Tim Dillon. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm thankful for any and all fans that I have.
I'm definitely getting worried about your ascent.
Well, and that's been obvious to a lot of people. But we all respect the silent film stars. We all respect the golden age. We all respect, you know what I mean?
No.
We get it. We understand it, you know? Have you seen Sunset Boulevard?
You guys aren't the first people to say fuck Hollywood. Alt comics were doing this 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And Patton Oswalt was like, sitcoms are stupid, and then he's in Ratatouille and on Two and a Half Men.
I'm trying to get into the Sway House.
King of Queens. What are we doing? You guys, you all sell out eventually. I've been around long enough to know that you all sell out eventually.
Do you know what the Sway House is?
I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
What is it?
I'm not a pedophile, so I haven't been there, Tim.
Everyone is over 18.
But it is
in the Sway House.
It is
a requirement to join. I believe. Maybe
it is where they make TikTok content and they do their lazy cheerleading for the camera, which is not sustainable.
Why, when you talk about it, is there such an anger?
Because it's not sustainable. Why
is there such an anger in your voice?
We are wired for completion. Storytelling will never go away.
Oh boy,
it will never go away.
Who says women are grading? When you talk about these TikTokers, it sounds like you've just swallowed a bit of acid.
No, I used to dance in the mirror when I was 18. I'm so glad I didn't put it on Instagram. Or on something permanent.
Well, I'm just saying, don't hate on my boys. We're just trying to do what we got to do. You know, we've taken over this town, and that's where I'm at. Hold the line, baby.
I love that you hate Hollywood movies, but you're investing in movie theaters.
But here's the thing. What you're calling Hollywood is actually just a fire, and Hollywood is actually the things that you hate, which is people like me, the TikTokers.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Corvette.
What about Snapchat? No?
It's fine.
Okay. As the authority on all things social media.
Well, I think TikTok is I don't have a lot of followers on TikTok because I've devoted most of my time to managing money. But I recognize the power of being young Hollywood and being 17 years old and having people like you hate on me. But that's okay. That's part of my journey. Part of my journey is to get hated on and still flourish. My haters make me stronger. That's all.
There is something kind of amazing about this new generation. They DM each other. They help each other. It's such the opposite of how comedians are.
It's a collaborative generation. We're taking over.
We?
Yeah.
Oh.
I am the D'Amelios, and they are me. We're all one.
But why then? I'm just curious. What about what they did was...
They're just the girls next door, and they just danced.
They were consistent and did it.
They just did it. Mm-hmm. You know, what do you want me to do? I can't tell you why me and my friends are the coolest people in the country.
If Charli D'Amelio went on
She's my best friend. Charli D'Amelio is my best friend.
If Charli D'Amelio went on a theater tour tomorrow, how many tickets would she sell? In America?
I don't know.
Is it America? We just don't know what's translating to ticket sales yet.
I bet it would be a few. I bet she could pull some numbers.
In the United States.
I bet she
These
could
aren't like random China numbers, Indian numbers.
Let's say a quarter. Let's say 3/4 of her TikTok following is fake.
Can you see?
That still leaves her
with
25 million people.
Can you see on TikTok where your followers live, like you can on Instagram?
I don't know. I don't think so.
That's shady to me.
I'm sure it's shady. Of course TikTok's shady.
Yeah.
But you got to get on Triller.
What's that?
Triller's the new TikTok.
What?
You old goat. Triller's the new TikTok.
Triller?
Yeah, it's a new TikTok.
Whatever happened with Twitch?
Twitch is there.
Are we going to start a Twitch empire?
People are making money on Twitch.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's happening with Twitch?
People are gaming.
Should we do the OnlyFans roast? I want to do a roast that's on OnlyFans, and it's like the dirty jokes that we're not allowed to tell.
I don't want to shit on sex workers.
Okay.
I'm not an old conservative Republican like you. I'm a liberal progressive. Black Lives Matter AOC stand. So I don't want to...
OnlyFans.
Yeah, I don't want to shit on people that are trying to make a living.